Hey VC, how's it going? Right, okay, just a quick video. I went into a local charity shop a few weeks ago and found a handful of Bowie records, which isn't something that happens to me every week, so I thought I'd show you what I picked up. So yeah, so basically what happened was that I walked in and just a few moments beforehand somebody dropped off a couple of big bags of records. So I asked the lady who runs the shop if I could have a look through, and she basically said, look, you know, she hasn't priced them up as yet. So I sort of cheekily asked if I could have a look through, pick out whatever I like the look of, leave them with her so she could price them up. And when I came back a couple of days later, she gave me, she let me know what she wanted for them. So I picked out about 20 records. I ended up buying about 10 because I just down to price basically. But I left a lot behind. Some of it was in quite bad condition, but I think I picked out the good stuff. So first up, Low. This was obviously originally 1977. This is a copy on orange RCA Victor, I think from 79, UK pressing. Yep, so in lovely condition. With much of the Bowie stuff, the previous owner's name has been scrawled on the back, which I know bugs the hell out of some people. It doesn't bother me at all. So Tracy Byrne, thank you very much for dropping your old records off at my local charity shop. It's very kind. She's actually left a phone number on a couple of these, so I should give her a call and say thank you tonight, but there you go. But yeah, so yeah, nice copy. Also I picked up Heroes. This is a nice laminated sleeve, originally came out in 1978. This is a UK pressing from 1980, also on the orange RCA Victor label. There are also copies of Lodger there and Diamond Dogs and Aladdin Sane, but all were quite badly scratched, so I left those behind. But I did pick this up. This is The Man Who Sold the World. This is a UK repress, I think from 1981, I think. I've always liked this sleeve. I've got it on CD with the Bowie in the dress on the sleeve, and I know there's that awful cartoon on the US release, wasn't there, you know, so, but I've always liked this image. This must have been sort of repressed originally in the early 70s, I suppose, after the initial Ziggy fame, you know. But yeah, this is nice. That's on the green RCA label. Yeah, and this is a great album as well, isn't it? You know, Width of a Circle, All the Mad Men, Black Country Rock, Man Who Sold the World, The Superman, great stuff. Okay, so previously, The Man Who Sold the World is as far back as I really wanted to go. I never really looked out for much of his 60s stuff, purely because obviously in the 70s he led the way. In the 60s he very much followed what was successful at the time. So when mod bands became the thing, he set up a mod band. When R&B became the thing, he set up an R&B band. You know, he tried to sound like Bob Dylan, whatever, you know. So I don't think he really found his own voice until the early 70s. But saying that, I'd always avoided buying this album for that reason. Obviously Space Oddity was a big hit and a great song, but it had that sort of novelty song quality to it, you know, I suppose. And I suppose he was thought as a one-hit wonder novelty act, I suppose, because it was a good few years before he had his next real hit, I suppose. But yeah, glad I picked this up because this is great from start to finish. Obviously I knew some of the songs, stuff like Letter to Hermione, Wild Old Boy from Free Cloud, but yeah, great from start to finish. This is an early 80s pressing. Pleased to get a copy, and that's on the black RCA Victor label. And another 60s thing, a little bit of a novelty this, I've had a collection of his earlier 60s stuff on Decca, one of those, I think it's the Images comp, two album thing. This is a similar thing, but this is an Italian compilation. And the reason why I picked this up, I know you can see here, but it's a gatefold sleeve, but has a nice booklet inside, which you can see any of that. It contains some nice pictures. Obviously all the text is in Italian, which I can't understand, but yeah, that was a fiver, but that was nice to pick up. Right, and finally the thing that I was most pleased with was this is Tin Machine 2, original UK press from 1991. Now I know that Tin Machine gets slated, as does much of his 90s stuff. I was born in 75, so my earliest memory of Bowie would be about 83, around the Let's Dance time, 82, 83. So albeit I went back and picked up all those 70s albums when I was in my teens. It really is the 90s Bowie and the early 2000s Bowie stuff which means the most to me from a personal point of view, because it's those albums that I queued up on the day of release to go and get. It's those tours that I queued up for tickets for, you know. So yeah, I do like Tin Machine and Tin Machine 2 especially. Stuff like Baby Universal, You Belong to Rock and Roll, those are the singles. But also there's a track on there called Shopping for Girls. When Bowie was 50, he did an interview with for Radio 1. And within that interview he did several acoustic versions of songs from throughout his career, so stuff like Repetition off Lodger, I remember he did a version of the Superman off Man Who Sold the World, but he also did a version of Shopping for Girls, which I love that acoustic version, so I was pleased to get a copy on vinyl of the original version on that. So great stuff. Right, okay, so that's it for the Bowie stuff. I did pick up a few other records as well. Many of you will know this. This is Prince Around the World in a Day, one of my favourite Prince albums. Some of his best songs on here: Raspberry Beret, Pop Life, obviously big singles, Paisley Park, but Condition of the Heart, yeah, just stunning stuff, you know. So obviously I've got other copies of this, but this is an original French pressing. I picked up a copy of Schools Out by Alice Cooper. I like this record. Yeah, perhaps not something you'd think I'd necessarily listen to, but this is a nice version of the Death Sleeve. Yeah, this is, I mean, at this point the band sound like the Rolling Stones or something along those lines, basically, you know. So yeah, it's a nice record. Great bass line as well on Schools Out the track as well, you know. So, but yeah, that's cool. That's to say, it's I think a 1983 repress, something like that. A couple of the records I picked up as well: the Virgin Prunes, If I Die, I Die. I knew a couple of songs by this band, didn't know a great amount. Irish bands. Many of you may know Gavin Friday. He's worked with U2, done solo stuff as well, but he was part of this band. But yeah, this is a really nice list. I've played this quite a lot over the last few weeks, so really pleased with that. And finally, I'm trying to get the early Bauhaus records. I think this is their 4th record, Mask. This is in the vinyl's in great condition. The sleeve has a couple of marks on it. Gatefold sleeve on Beggar's Banquet. So yeah, very cool. Pleased with that. Cheers.